This video we're going to talk about some useful functions for date calculation. The first function we're going to talk about is the weekday function. What the weekday function does is it returns an integer value representing the number value of the week. The default value is Sunday being represented by the number 1 and Saturday being represented by 7. And everything in between, your Monday would be 2, Wednesday 3, and so forth. So using that default system, if I wanted to get the day number of the date, January 1st, I can use weekday function and just use my dates, close my parenthesis, and it should give me 6 because Friday using that system is the 6th day of the week. Now when I was typing that function, what you noticed is that there's also a parameter here called return type. Now this is an optional parameter, and you know it's optional because it's got the brackets. Anytime you see brackets as a parameter, that means it's an optional field. Now maybe I didn't want Sunday to be represented as 1. Maybe I wanted Monday to be represented as 1. Well, using different return types, I can adjust that however I see fit. So I can make Monday 1, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. 1 if I so choose. To know what return types there are, I just added a little table at the bottom which you can use for reference. These are the different values you can enter, and this is the numeric result that will come of it using that different return type. So you see that I can even make Monday start off at 0 instead of 1. The next problem, I just want to return the day number for today's date. So if you watched our first part of this video, I can get today's date using the function today. So today will return today's dates. And today is the 7th day of the week by default because today is Saturday. The 12th of October is Saturday. And so using the weekday function, I get the integer value 7. The next function is the weeknum, which gives me the week number. So the week number returns the week number of the year. So if I wanted to get the week number of the January 1st of 2015, I can use the weeknum function and select my date, and I should get 1 for the first day of the week, or first week of the year, excuse me. If I do the same thing for the 6th of January 2015, you'll notice that I get the value of 2. And you might say, well, that's only 6 days after January 1st, shouldn't that still be a 1? Well, the weeknum gives you the week number starting from Sunday to Saturday. So it counts weeks. Every Sunday, it counts a new week. So January 6, 2015 was one Sunday after the 1st, so it already counted up to the 2nd week of the year. Using the same thing on the 31st of 2015, I'll get the value 53. And that explains, why we're getting 53 based on the last example when there's only 52 weeks in the year, because this is counting weeks. Every Sunday is a new week. The next function we're going to talk about is eomonth. What eomonth stands for is end of month. It returns the last date of the month. So this is a very useful function if you wanted to standardize dates and take a date and just roll everything up to the end of that month. This function comes in very handy. So if I wanted to get the last day of the month for February 1st, I can use the function eomonth. I can get a brief description if I want. Enter the start date, which is just my dates. And the second parameter actually asks for a month. So eomonth actually does some more things as well. You can actually add on months to your dates. So if I wanted to add on a single month from February or subtract a month from February, I could enter a numeric value for my parameter. In this case, I don't want to, so I'm just going to enter the value of 0. And you'll notice that it gave me the end of the month to 28/17. I'm going to do the same thing for the next value, and I picked February because February obviously has the leap year. And if I use the same value and I use 0 for the same month, I'll get 229. So this function actually does recognize leap years, and it will change your end of month value based on the year. Next, I want to actually use the second parameter in the eomonth, and I want to use it to add on a month. So if I use my eomonth and use my date, I'm supposed to return the last day of next month. So instead of putting 0 as my second parameter, I'm going to enter 1. So what this is going to do is add a single month to this date, and then whatever date that gives me, it's going to give me the last date in that month. So this is May 1st, 2012. I'm adding a month to that, which is going to give me June 1st, 2012. So then when I use the eomonth, I'm going to want the last day of June in 2012, which is the 30th of June. Next function we're going to talk about is days. So what days does is it returns the number of days between two dates. So if I want to return the number of days between today and the date 1/1/16, I can use the function days. The two parameters are end date and start date. So my end date is going to be the later of the dates. So since we're already past 2016, the later of the dates is today, so I'm going to use the function today. And my start date I'm going to use as 1/16. And this will give me the number of days between today and January 1st, 2016. It is 1,380 days since January 1st, 2016. Next, we're going to use another function we learned in one earlier video. I want to return the number of days between 8/1/18 and today. Now, I don't put the value 8/1/18 because I want you to use the date function in order to do that. So if I use the days, so days will again calculate the number of days between two dates. I'm going to start with my end date, which is the later of the dates. So since 8/1/18 is already in the past, the later of the dates is today. And now to get the 8/1/18 as a date, I need to use the date function, which we talked about in part 1 of this series. The date function asks for 3 parameters, year, month, and day. And what that'll do is it'll take those integer values and convert it into a date. So the year of 8/1/18 is 2018. The month is 8, and the day is 1. Close my second set of parentheses, and I'll get 437 days. So from today, which is October 12th, 2019, that is 437 days away from August 1st, 2018. Next, we're going to talk about the function edates. So what edate does is it returns the number of months before or after an input date. So maybe I've got a date and I want to add 6 months, or I want to add a year, or I want to take off a year. Edate will allow you to add or subtract a given number of months from your date value. Okay? So to use the edates, just type your edate. It takes 2 parameters, which is just your date and however many months you want to offset that by. So in this case, I want a full 6 months in the past. I want to return the date 6 months ago. So I'm going to use a negative number to do that. So I'm going to use my date, -6, and it'll give me 6 months in the past. So today, this is August 1st, 2019. 6 months ago was February 1st, 2019. I can now use the same function to give me 3 years past the date given. So if I want to get, in other words, I'm asking for 3 years past January 1st, 2016. Well, I thought edate gave you months. Correct, but I can convert those months or the years into months to be able to get 3 years from a given date. So using the edate function, I'm going to use 1/1/16. And for number of months, I can either type in 36 or I could type in 12 for 12 months in a year times 3 for 3 years at 12 months in a year. And it'll add on 36 months to my date of 1/1/16. Last, we're going to return the date 2 months from the current date. So again, I'm using the function edates. I'm going to use the start dates. My start date is going to be today, so I'm going to use the function today. I'm going to use it 2 months from today, so my number of months is going to be 2. 2 months from today, today is October 12th. 2 months from today is December 12th, 2019. The next function is workday. So workday returns a date given the number of workdays after the input date. So this is great if you wanted to be able to calculate 5 working days from today or 10 working days from today. The workday function, as well as the networkdays functions, which is the next function we'll talk about, automatically exclude weekends. So when it's calculating the number of days or calculating the dates, it automatically excludes weekends. The other nice thing about these two functions is you can actually input a list of holidays to exclude as well. So this is great if you're calculating how many working days do you have to complete a project. These two functions will come in handy. So for the first example, we're going to jump into trying to calculate the date 5 working days from the date January 1st, 2016. Use the workday function, hit tab. You see it takes 2 required parameters and a third optional parameter, which we'll get to in the second example. So first I'm just going to start with my start dates and hit comma. My second parameter is days, and I want 5 working days from this date. So you'll notice 5 days from January 1st is January 6th, but obviously the 2nd and 3rd of January is Saturday and Sunday, which this function excluded. So 5 working days from January 1st is the next Friday, January 8th. The next example, I'm going to do 3 working days from the dates, but I want to consider Christmas Eve and Christmas Day as holidays. And so I don't want to count them as working days. So I'm going to use the same function, select my dates. I want 3 working days from December 23rd. And now for the holiday optional parameter, I can select a list of dates. So if you've got a list of dates that consist of all of your company holidays, in this case, I've got Christmas Eve, the 24th, and Christmas Day, the 25th, as my holidays. So just highlight both of those values, close your parentheses and hit enter. And now you'll see that the date of 3 working days from the 23rd is Wednesday the 28th, because it skipped the 24th and the 25th, which were holidays. In this case, it just so happened that these dates were both also weekends, but had there been weekends in there as well, it would have also skipped those weekends in addition to these holiday values. The last function we're going to talk about is network days. So network days returns the number of whole work days. So as workday gave you the date, network days gives you the number value between 2 dates, number of working days between 2 dates. So first example, I want the number of whole work days between today and the date 10/8/19. So use the network day function. My start date is the lower of them because I'm starting here. I then want the end date, which we said is going to be today. And I don't have any holidays for this one, so I'm just going to close out my parenthesis, and I get 4. So the 8th was 4 working days ago. Today is the 12th. It's a Saturday. The 8th was 4 working days ago. So I had the 8th, the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th. Or the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 4 working days from today. The next example, we're going to calculate the number of days between 12/21/16 and the dates 12/31/2016, but I want to exclude Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So I'm going to use the network days function again. I'm going to choose my start dates, which is going to be the lower of the 2, which is the 21st of October. So in order to enter that, I have to use the date function. So use the date. The year was 2016, the month is 12, and the day is 21. And the end date is the 31st, 2016. Now we said we want to exclude Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, so for my third parameter, just highlight the list of my holidays, close my parenthesis, I'll get the value 8. So there's 8 working days from the 21st of October to the 31st of October, considering the 24th and 25th as holidays. So just to recap, these are just some functions that are very useful when performing date calculations. There are many more date functions available inside of Excel. Some later videos will talk about some of those, but this should get you a good start in performing calculations on date values in Excel. See you in the next video.